Hello, hi, hello.
Hi!
Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Lazyvilles. I do videos on anime, video game series, commentary, and whatever is on my mind. Anyway, in this video I'm going to be talking about Sonic Galactic. So Sonic Galactic is this 2D Sonic fan game. I recently saw, or I should say I recently watched a video about Sonic Galactic and I was like, you know what, let me play this game, I'm interested. This is my first time also ever playing a fan game, so I didn't really have like high expectations. Sonic fan game follows 5 characters, the usual 3, Sonic, Tails and Knuckles, who we know from the OG games, and we also have Fang and Tano, but I'll talk about the other 2 characters later. Anyway, the game starts in typical Sonic fashion in Green Hill Zone. Well, this isn't really Green Hill Zone, this is Verdant Isle Zone. But yeah, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles and Fang bump into Tano and Tano explains everything that happened. Basically, Robotnik and all his robots invaded this island. But yeah, our story starts at Verdant Isle Zone, Act 1. So, right off the bat, I like that I can see a lot of references from official Sonic games like Sonic 1 and the rest. In Verdant Isle Zone, I can see some things that were in, is it the Mushroom Kingdom or Mushroom Hill Zone from Sonic 3? I really like that. So I really like that the stage designs are inspired by things that are actually in the OG Sonic games. Verdant Isle Zone 1 is just a breeze in typical level 1 fashion, nothing too difficult. I really enjoyed it, and I would say that all of the stages are longer than a typical Sonic game, but I don't mind because the level design is actually good, but I'll get into that later. So Verdant Isle Zone 1 is a breeze, and in Verdant Isle Zone 2 we can kind of see the level design changing a bit. It seems as if Sonic is going underground, whilst Zone 1 he was on top of the surface. Really nice touch and really adds a lot to the game. Yeah. After completing Verdant Isle, Act 1 and Act 2, we go to the second stage or the second part of the game, which is the Coral Garden. So this is an underwater zone. This was really interesting. Like, there are a lot of nice touches added here. For example, there are a lot of bubbles, which I like because you don't have to panic about running out of air. Very nice touch and makes the level feel like a breeze. It doesn't feel like a drag because you don't have to constantly be searching for air bubbles because they're everywhere. Of course, the typical air bubbles that you know from Sonic 1, I should say, are there. Like, they're still there, but why would you use those when you have so many air bubbles? That's a nice touch. Also, I was surprised by how fast this is. Because you're underwater, you'd think that, there's a lot of water resistance, you can't run that fast, but I was so shocked. Like, there's so many things that propel you forwards and there's so many things that push you to run faster, springs and so many things, so many underwater things, whatever these things are called. But yeah, they push you to move faster and they help you to gain momentum, which is really nice because the level doesn't feel like such a drag even though you're underwater. But I will say that Coral Garden Act 1 was a bit too long. Like, this level is too long and oftentimes I was really lost. I didn't really know where to go. There's like so much happening, the crab destroying the platforms and the levels to make you move forward. Like, this level can feel a bit clunky. I think there were some things that can be removed. This is a demo anyway, so maybe there's some things that will be removed in the final version, but this level was really clunky for me, and it was the first time I reached overtime on the time. I exceeded 10 minutes because it was taking me that long to find my way through the level. Like, it was the first time that I've spent so much time on a level, and it didn't matter which character I played. I thought that maybe this zone I would move faster as Tails because Tails can swim, but it didn't really make a difference which character I played. It took long either way. So yeah, really fun level, but way too long. Like, some things can definitely be cut and removed. Coral Garden Zone 2 sees us move from underwater going to the surface, which is nice because the drag from the water is not that fun, even though there were still things that could propel you forwards and make you run faster. So yeah, Coral Garden Act 2 is mostly on the surface, less time underwater. This stage is so beautiful. Like, there was a time when I was playing where I just stopped to admire the background. Like, it's so, everything is just so gorgeous, beautiful, and well designed. I like the colors and everything. Very beautiful stage. But yes, Coral Garden Act 2 definitely feels more fast paced than Coral Garden Act 1 because of more time spent on the surface. It's a very fun Act 2, like, it's not too difficult. I would say Act 1 was harder than Act 2, like finding your way around and making it to the final boss and stuff. So yeah, I really liked Coral Garden Act 2, and I feel like this was such a nice change of pace, like to go from under the surface to back to the surface. That was a really nice touch, and this is a really fun zone. Definitely a really fun one, and definitely a fun zone to replay. After completing Coral Garden Act 2, you're blasted off to Luminous City. And this stage is so much fun. It actually reminds me of, is it Studiopolis from Sonic Mania? Like, so good, so well designed, and even the music. I really enjoyed the music of the stage. It feels like music from an official Sonic fan game. Like, it's that good. It's colorful, it's fun. This might be probably like the most fun stage for me. I'm not really sure, but I really enjoyed it. There were so many things that I was left wanting more because this is the last stage in the demo, sadly. The game ends after you finish this zone 1, right? Luminosity zone 1, and the game is over. The demo ends there. There was so much stuff that, like, I was left wanting more, really. After first playing the game as Sonic, it was time for me to play the game with the other characters. My favorite Sonic character is Tails because he can fly, and I just really like the flying ability. I feel like it makes reaching higher places so much easier and in a way faster, I guess. But yeah, and also because Tails can fly, he has access to rings that Sonic may not be able to reach just from jumping, right? And also there are a lot of hidden items and stuff that you can find, like extra lives and shields and stuff that you can find because you can simply fly up and reach places that Sonic cannot. So I really enjoyed playing this game also as Tails, the same way I did as Sonic. I would say that in this game, Tails flies for a longer period of time than in the official Sonic fan games, I think. I'm not really sure, but it seems that way. But yeah, it's still fun playing as Tails just as much as it was with Sonic. Coral Garden was not easy just cause Tails can swim. Even though he can swim and like reach things, it helped, but I didn't think it made that much of a difference. I thought that I would finish the level faster as Tails than as Sonic, but it didn't really make that much of a difference. It really did not. Like, I guess I was wrong there. I just thought that swimming would help me finish the level faster. As I said earlier, the level was just way too long, but yeah. In Luminous City, I would say that being able to fly definitely helps because there are a lot of places that are high up. So playing as Sonic, the level was not as fun. It was more fun as Tails and the other characters. Because Tails can fly up, it was so much easier to reach up instead of always relying on springs and stuff. So I would say Luminous City is more fun as Tails than as Sonic. But overall, still fun. And it's still cool to be able to access some things that Sonic cannot just because Tails can fly. It really adds more dimension to the levels because of this flying ability and stuff. But yeah, the game is still fun as Tails. I still enjoyed it just as much as I did with Sonic. Playing as Knuckles allows you to access areas that Sonic and Tails are not able to access because Knuckles can destroy some blocks, and there are some parts that require you to use Knuckles' gliding ability and wall climbing ability that are showcased through the levels. Even though the game only has 5 levels, I like that that was included. I really like that there are levels designed for Knuckles' ability. And Knuckles was fun to play just as much as Sonic and Tails. Definitely, I would have loved more parts that allow you to climb walls, but this is just a demo, so I can't really say much on that. I really like that in Coral Garden Act 2, Knuckles goes underground, so everybody's warped to the surface immediately after finishing Act 1, but Knuckles travels underground. And whilst underground, we get to see a bit of lore in this game, just a little bit, not too much to give everything away, but definitely that was interesting. And I like that his Act 2 is different from everybody else's. His Coral Garden Act 2 for Knuckles is harder than the other characters because he has to face two bosses. But I'll talk about the bosses later on. But I like that we got to see some lore, and it was kind of funny how he's like seeing all these paintings underground and he bumps into Eggman, and it's like, what is Eggman doing underground? Isn't he supposed to be on the surface? That was kind of funny. It was nice to have like a little cutscene, and yeah, Coral Guardian was just as fun. Studiopolis was not fun as Knuckles because you try to climb walls, then you're blocked, so you have to mostly rely on springs. You have to play Luminous City the way you play as Sonic. The wall climbing ability didn't really help as much, I would say, so it did feel like a bit of a drag. I wish there were some parts that were designed for Knuckles' gliding and wall climbing ability to be showcased, but it's okay, I guess. My first playthrough of Fang was not as enjoyable, I have to say. I didn't really enjoy playing as Fang that much in this game the first time, but when I played the game the second time, I had more fun because I feel like I had a better understanding of his ability. He kind of has this double jump thing, but it has to be charged, so the longer you charge it, the higher he can jump. So because I didn't really understand it at first, I was just like, this is just a lame version of a double jump. Like Tails can fly and Tano can reach high, but I'll talk about Tano later. So I didn't really get it. Like, I didn't understand the concept of his ability. But after playing the game a second time, I was like, okay, you know what, this is kind of fun. And I feel like I really enjoyed his ability more in Coral Garden Act 1. That's when I really was like, oh, this is really helpful because there are a lot of high places that you can reach easily. And the good thing is that his ability doesn't really slow down momentum. You'll be running fast and then you do the double jump and you keep on going, you know. So definitely Fang might be my least favorite character. Even though I enjoyed him the second time around when I was playing the game, I still feel like I didn't really enjoy his character as much as the other ones. But yeah, Tano the More is an original character introduced in this game. He's not an official Sonic character, but I have to say, it feels like he's an official character. He's so good. Tano's ability allows him to jump into the ground and then come up out of the ground, and he can achieve such high vertigo that it makes him very broken. I feel like you can travel the levels faster as Tano, and it's cool that he can reach so high up because there's so many, just like Tails, there's so many rings and hidden items that you can find as Tano because of this ability. I really enjoyed playing as Tano because movement is such a breeze, especially in Luminous City where I said there's a lot of vertigo and there are a lot of parts that you have to go high up. And it was so easy doing this as Tano compared to the other characters. Just Tano and Tails really excel in Luminous City Act 1. But he's such a good addition to the game that you would think this is an official Sonic character because he's so good and he just fits right in. Like, it's crazy. Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about the bosses in the game. The bosses are well designed. I wouldn't say that they're too difficult. I think they're just fair, I would say. In Verdant Zone 1, the caterpillar or the sandworm attacking you, I like that there are rings during the boss level because even if you lose all of your rings, you can still recapture some 3 rings that come by if you time your jump right. I feel like this is really good, especially for new players or people who haven't played Sonic games before, because you don't have to panic about losing your rings. I like the idea of having rings in a boss stage. I think that was really good. In Verdant Isle Act 2, I would say that this boss battle is kind of hard. I can see newer players struggling with this because I didn't even know where to hit Eggman. Do I hit the top part or the bottom part? And also, what is Eggman doing when he's spinning on the ground? At times I would just stay idle. I would be like, I don't understand what Eggman is doing here. I don't understand what I should do. I'm just assuming that he's gathering energy from the ground to charge up his machine or whatever. But yeah, definitely this boss may be challenging. I would say it's somewhat challenging but not too difficult. In Coral Garden Act 1, the crab is such a pain to fight against, especially as Knuckles, because Knuckles can't really jump as high as the other characters. I would say overall, Tano does great against all the bosses since he can jump higher than everyone. But anyway, back to the crab. The crab is so annoying. I didn't even know that where to hit. I was so confused, like, do I hit its head or its body parts, or do I have to destroy all the body parts first? But the main thing is that if you hit its head or its main body, then yeah, it will be destroyed quicker. But you can start by destroying its legs and its arms and stuff. So I'd say that this was a hard battle, yes. In Core Garden Act 2, let me start with Knuckles, the boss that Knuckles faces before the boss that everyone faces. The boss that Knuckles faces underground is so hard because I thought that you could attack it from the back, but it turns out that you can't. And then it has so many vast attacks, like, and I also don't understand why it's not vulnerable when you hit it or try to attack it from the back. So basically you have to hit it from the front when it rises its arm up so that it can topple over. But yeah, this boss is just really hard and very confusing. It also doesn't help that Knuckles can't really jump that high over like the stuff. I was so confused, like, can you get hit by the bubbles or not? Like, this was a mess. And this is a hard boss, I would say. But since it's only Knuckles who faces this boss, it makes sense. So yeah. The main boss that everyone fights in Act 2 is also difficult. I was so confused, like, what are these three heads? Where do I hit them? Because sometimes when you try to jump and hit them, you get bumped back. So this was confusing. I also didn't know if, like, I have to destroy all three heads first to destroy the boss or just to focus on the main body. And at first I was so focused on the three heads above the surface, I didn't even realize that Eggman is in the machine at the bottom. I just thought that this was like a machine attacking by itself. Yeah, this boss is difficult, and it's also again very hard for Knuckles because he can't jump that high. For Tano, this is really easy, I would say, because you can jump high and you can easily avoid all of the attacks. But this is definitely a hard boss. I would say that at first I was thinking that the bosses in this game were fair, but I'd say that they were pretty hard. Especially, I can't imagine someone who's never played like a Sonic game finding this easy or fair. This may be challenging, yes. And the third and final boss at Lumino City. This boss is not really that hard, to be honest. It's more of that when the boss is open for attack, you just have to time your jumps really well, because if you time them wrongly, you might end up just hitting the bumper instead of hitting its head. But I really like this final boss. I like that the battle happens at an arena. I think that's so cool, like the way the stage is set up. I also like that there's an audience watching you battle this boss, and there's some familiar characters in the audience. I saw Ristar. I don't know if anyone knows Ristar. I think it was like an old game on the NES or Sega or whatever. But yes, I really like this final boss, and it was such a cool way to end the game, to end the demo. Now I'm also just going to be talking about some random things that I liked. I really liked that in Verdant Owl Act 2 you can kind of see Eggman going to the location, like before you battle him, right? Like you can kind of see him in the background going to the battle area. I think that was cool. I like the transition from Verdant Owl to Coral Garden, the submarine shooting a torpedo. Is it a torpedo or a missile? Whatever, to you, and then you falling into the water. I thought that was kind of fun. There are a lot of really cool transitions in this game, I would say. There's also the hidden area in Coral Garden Act 2 that Tails and Tano can reach, where you get to see the mermaid, and I guess it gives some lore about the game. I think that was cool. I also liked that red robot in Lumino City. I don't know if it's supposed to be like your rival, like sort of like Robo Sonic. I can't remember the name, but I thought it was funny how like in Lumino City it feels like there's a race between you and the robot. I didn't really know what to do at first, and I'm not really sure if you're supposed to win the race. If you win the race, you get some bonus coins and stuff. But this race would be really easy to win as Tails because of flying, or as Tano because of the height that he's able to reach and the speed that he's able to maintain at that height. So yeah, maybe I'll try it again. I don't know if it's like an actual feature. I just noticed like it might be that there's a race between you and the robot. I'm also interested to see if the robot will be there again in zone 2, or if it will just be like a rival, like Robo Sonic type of thing. I think that will be interesting to see as they complete the game. Let me also talk a bit about the bonus stage. The bonus stage is just allows you to get extra coins and extra like things like the lightning, the bubble, and those abilities. I don't really know what the leaf shield does. I don't really get it, but it can be confusing to play the bonus stage at first because it's like 3D-ish, but after a while you get used to it. I think it's pretty fun actually. It's just a simple and fun stage, really. I'll also be talking a little bit about the special stage. The special stage is so much fun. It kind of reminds me of Sonic 2, I think. So you have to like collect 75 rings, and because there's only one special stage that you can play in this game, this was pretty easy, I would say. Just really fun, not really that big of a challenge collecting the rings. At first I was afraid to jump into that thing that says 75 at the end of the stage, because I thought that if you jump into it before you've collected 75 rings, it will take you back to the stage, but it turns out that it just does the math and tells you the remaining number of rings that you need to get. But yeah, the special stage is just kind of fun. It would be interesting to see how they will work on this and make it harder. Maybe they'll put enemies in, or spikes, or things that can like take away your rings and stuff. But definitely a fun special stage, and I feel like this is something that I want to see more of. I want to see more special stages like this in the game. I love that the game has so many moments where you can like really run very fast and attain top speed. I also like the animations of all the characters when they're running very fast. I also like some of the animations that appear like in the special stage after collecting the 75 rings. That was cool. The idle animations, they did really well. The developers did really well with this game. There's so much that I love. It feels like an official Sonic game, and it actually shows me why I always love 2D Sonic more than 3D actually. This game is so much fun and I really enjoyed it. So there are a couple of things that I would like to see in the demo, in the rest of the levels that are remaining. Some of the things that I expect to see in the remaining demo is an ice stage, because when you're transitioning from Verdant Isle to the Coral Garden, you can kind of see a mountain with ice caps in the back, so that tells me that there's going to be an ice stage. Also, in a way, like when you see Thanos' intro in the game, the intro scene, you can kind of see some enemies and bosses, which make me excited to see what's left to come in the game. I'd like to have more levels that like Fang's ability really shines through, or levels that are designed with Fang's ability in mind. I feel like for the rest of the characters, things were well designed. Like, as much as I want to have more levels with Knuckles' ability, I still feel like Knuckles' ability was put really well in this game, given that it is a demo. So definitely more opportunity for Fang to shine. Probably there are already some levels after Lumino City where Fang really shines a lot, but we'll see. The game is well designed. The only level that I can really criticize is Coral Garden Act 1, because it's very messy, like the crab destroying things for you to pass through and everything. The level can feel very clunky, and also the level is just way too long. Like, there are some things that can be cut. Also, there are way too many pipes in that level. Like, the developers went pipe crazy. I feel like there's a pipe for every part that you're going to. Way too many pipes, so you can cut out the pipes. Like, you can make a whole compilation of pipe after pipe after pipe. Like, that was a bit too much. So even though most of the levels are longer than a typical Sonic game, a Sonic 2D game, I still enjoyed them because they're well designed. Also, there's also that one switch in Coral Garden Act 2 that I don't really get what it does. I don't know if that's a glitch, maybe the developers forgot to remove it, but I'm sure it does something, maybe I just didn't notice. But other than that, most of the other levels are well designed. I like the character designs, I like the introduction of Tano. He does add a lot to the game, he's very fun to play, and yeah, I really enjoyed playing Sonic Galactic, and I can't wait to see more. So far so good. The developers did a good job with this game. It's a really great game and I'd love to play the full thing. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.